Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be talking about a show many of you have seen, the sports fanatics out there and people enamored with the sports world. And it's SportsNation, and it's a show that airs on ESPN. It's a weekday afternoon show, and they give a lot of their top 44 or whatever number it may be of various things. They have one segment, I believe it's once a month, called Memorable Jeers, and I guess it shows sports ignominious moments and whoever's opinion during that particular time. And it's hosted by Max Kellerman, Michelle Beadle, and Marcellus Wiley. And I really like the show. I mean, they give a comical spin on things, and the personalities on there, the people are very exuberant. They seem to really enjoy what they're doing, which of course is important for a show to be successful. And I like the section on ESPN.com when they have the SportsNation polls. And they had one, what I looked at, it was a recent one about, they were showing what likely NFC East scenarios, and they had the four choices, and one of them may have been or something similar to Cowboys and Eagles both missing the playoffs was one option. And I really like it as far as the show goes, and as far as the section on ESPN.com. And it gives the sports enthusiasts the opportunity to vote for things, and it gives them something to do. Now, however, at times there will be some controversial remarks on the show, I believe, and I'm surprised. I understand that in the sports world, people can be opinionated, people can be very dogmatic. You have a lot of outspoken personalities, and of course you have a wide divergence of opinions and viewpoints regarding various sports topics. I respect and understand that. However, I think even people in the sports world can cross the line sometimes. And there was an episode I was watching. It was maybe it was a week ago or so, and it was on SportsNation, and they were giving like the top, I think it was memes. I don't know if it was for the year or if it was for the month, whatever. They found some way to make a joke about Tim Tebow. And as many of you may know, Tim Tebow was a phenomenal college football quarterback, and he didn't quite make it in the NFL. And I think because of that, sometimes he's the butt of some people's jokes. For me, I don't really think it's called for, especially because now Tim Tebow is a very spiritual and religious person. And on the SportsNation show, which I watched approximately a week ago, I don't remember precisely the day that I saw this show, but they made some remark about living on a prayer, and they made a reference to the song about Tim Tebow, and they said, well, Tim Tebow can also be first in Bible class or something. Well, I understand these remarks are flippant for the most part, I believe. I don't think there's anything malicious connected with them. However, I think there's some things that are appropriate and others are inappropriate. And I think when people shouldn't really make fun of others because they have a certain religious viewpoint. And I understand, I don't know as far as the hosts on that show, how religious or spiritual they are. I'm not out to judge them or condemn them. The percentages say that they probably aren't as spiritual or religious as Tim Tebow, because I believe most people aren't, because Tim Tebow has an uncanny ability, or had this during his time in the college football world sphere and in his brief tenure in the NFL. Now, I think he may be on a team right now. I'm not sure about that, but the point I'm making, regardless whether he is or not, Tim Tebow has that uncanny ability, or has had it, to stay focused spiritually in a rather worldly existence. And I think he shouldn't be condemned for that. Just because he's more spiritual and religious than the average Joe I mean, he should be lauded for that and praised. It shouldn't be about condemnation in a way. And I know people out there will say, well, they weren't condemning him, they were just making a joke and this and that. Okay. It may have been said in a joking way, and I've seen other things before. There was one that where I felt like Tim Tebow was mocked in a way. There was one play in the NFL one time when I believe Tim Tebow either got sacked or he was tackled to the ground on a play, and it may not have been a sack. And there was a player on an opposing team that was mimicking Tim Tebow, and he put his he made a gesture where he put his hand under his chin and tilted his head down in a way that Tim Tebow does in connection with his religious and spiritual outlook. And we see that this goes on more than it should. And I'm not saying somebody should be fined because of this or anything, but I think it's very inappropriate. And when you see this on the field, I think it could be a borderline taunting type of penalty should maybe be called on something like this. And when people do this on TV, I'm surprised that they don't seem to talk about this as much and say, well, it was a controversial statement, because I think sometimes they are, and I think people in the sports world can go a little overboard with their outlooks on athletes at times, and I think it can be borderline disrespectful. But that is just my opinion on it, and my opinion only. Some of you may agree, and some of you may not agree. That's obviously your prerogative. But anyway, that's pretty much what I want to get on this, and I just feel like if you want to put a memorable jeer about something, I think the fact that mocking maybe a good man in a former or perhaps present NFL player as well. I think Tim Tebow had gone to an NFL team. I think the one thing is somebody prominent still in the sports world one way or another. There's really, that could be a jeer for making fun of someone's religion. If they want to put that on a memorable jeer video, maybe they should put that on there as well, and understand that the jeer itself is the fact that somebody would do something that would act like that and make fun of a person for his religion. I'm not saying that it's the jeer is on Tim Tebow, but maybe on the members of SportsNation that were making the jokes about this, or whoever wrote them, or what have you. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube video segment for the Sports Nation show. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.